In humble service to you, go. You've had an opportunity now. Just remember, do not watch this particular video until after you have read the first chapter of The Giver. And so now you've had a chance to experience The Giver. You should have paper and pencil. So if you don't, go ahead and grab that. You can press pause and go ahead and grab what you need. And so you've had a chance to be introduced to characters Jonas and Asher, and this is a very unique society and community that they live in. And so there are some things that I'm going to take a look at my notes here. Absolutely love this book. I wanted you to notice that there's some things about this society that are just kind of stand out to us. And one is that it seems to be man-made, almost a social construct, if you will, generated by man. It lacks luster. It lacks life. It seems to be robotic, if you will. The roles of the men and women are, those traditional roles of men and women are switched. You got the men being the nurturers. What's a nurturer, Miss Gia? A nurturer is a person that takes care of and gives care to, encourages the growth or development of something or someone, and typically that's your women versus your men. But you got Jonas's dad is the nurturer, and the woman, she works as an authoritative high role at the Department of Justice. There's a couple other things I noticed. I noticed that they live in what they don't call their homes. They call them formal names. They call them dwellings, and the ages are called by groups. And so in the first chapter, we hear the references, a reference to the sixes, the sevens, and the 12s. I also noticed that the people who work on the night shift at the nurturing center for the new children that are born into this society, they're given a spouse, so they're given a wife, and so I thought that got my attention. And I noticed the term creation of a family unit. So I want you to press pause right here, and I want you to jot down a couple of things or terms that you noticed while you were reading, and you could just label that notice ? Go ahead and jot down some things that you noticed about this particular community or society. And I'm going to share, now that you've pressed play again, I'm going to share some other things I noticed. I noticed that the family eats together. That's now not as common as it used to be. And they're talking about their feelings, and this is referred to as a ritual. And so it's a ritual to go around the table and everyone to share their feelings for that day. And so Jonas is last, and Dad shares about what he experienced at the center where the new children are born, and he says that they got a new child and it seems to not be developing well, and he's going to ask if he can bring the child home and get it all better, and because if it doesn't get better, it'll have to be released. And so we keep hearing, some of you wrote that down, we keep hearing this term released. What does that mean? Or when someone is released, we do know that there are two reasons that you're released. There's a couple of ways to be released from their community, one being as punishment, and then one being a celebration. So it's a celebration to be released from their community when you're elderly, and then there's a celebration. There's a celebration of a new child being released. And so it's kind of like, what does this really mean? Are they being released from the community as a means? Are they being put to death? Are they being put out? What does it really mean? And of course, we'll have to read on to find out. And so what I wanted you to do is I wanted you to complete your choice board activity 1, where you have to write from the perspective of one of the characters. And right now we've been introduced to Jonas. We've been introduced to Jonas's little sister. And based on what we know, she was assigned to the family. This is really something. This is really an interesting text, a unique text. And I can't wait to see, how you guys respond to what will happen next. We also are introduced to Jonas's mom. She's kind of static right now, so we don't get too much from her. Jonas seems to be in the beginning. They mentioned the flight that goes down, and it gets everybody's attention because in this society, cargo or supplies are flown in, and then it's something that kind of gets the attention of the smaller ones in their society. And they watch the plane land and drop off the cargoes and fly away. But this was an odd looking plane, and we learned that the pilot has gotten off track on his mission, and he's scrambling to get back before it's noticed. And then we hear on the speaker in their society, they have like announcement speakers, and they're telling everybody, get to the closest building, put your bikes down and get to the closest building. Maybe there aren't any cars in this society, and get to your safest, closest building until everything's all settled. And then after the plane leaves, we hear the speaker say through this intercom-like system, he says, well, as we all know, he will be released. So we're like, man, is he in trouble? What does this release really mean? Based on what we've experienced so far, we're getting some negative connotations, if you will. We saw the word apprehensive. And so that's a word that you'll have to use by the time you work on your homework for assignment 4, when you create that narrative with the words that emerged during our reading experience. And so we saw the word apprehensive, and based on the way it was used, it was a fear and anxiety there. And so we see a lot of descriptions of Jonas's feelings in real time during our experience of chapter 1. Something else I noticed about chapter 1, I noticed who was talking. So who's the narrator in chapter 1? Is it, we're thinking maybe Jonas might be the main character? Jonas isn't talking, right? Looks like it's a third person narrator, omniscient narrator. How do we know he's omniscient? Because he knows everything. He knows what the characters are feeling. He knows what Jonas is thinking. We see it all from the guise of a first person omniscient narrator. So I'm taking a quick look with about 2 more minutes in this particular video. Taking a quick look at how you're going to employ the words apprehensive in your assignment for assignment 4. You also will see during first chapter 1 and 2's experience, you'll see the word disposition. So as I understand it, we haven't seen that word just yet, but get ready. We're learning and expanding our vocabulary so we can talk to people, and so we can be in a room of highly educated, maybe even mid-educated folks, and not feel like we're hearing a foreign language. We'll actually understand the wording that they use. And so we're on a mission. We know that. Breakers. We're on a mission to break ceilings and burst through ceilings that have been set above us, and be able to stomp on those grounds and on those territories of people who use high language. In order for us to do that, we got to learn new words. We don't want to cap our words that we use when we talk and write to what we learned up to about 4th grade. No, we want to constantly add to our lexicon or our treasure of words up here so that we can use them out here and when we write. And so you'll see the word disposition soon and very soon. You know what to do during this time. I do want you should have already jotted down some things that you noticed. I also want you to give attention to what kind of society is this? And so I want you to write a brief response, a quick write. What type of society is this based on what we've experienced so far? And then, a little bit later on today, go ahead and listen to chapter 2, and we'll do some activities with that At that time, you'll get a chance to hear some of both chapters. All right, my time's up. In service to you. See you soon. Sooner than later, hopefully.